I got to realize just how nuanced this conversation can be when a friend of mine, it's probably like 10 years ago, we were
Yeah.
talking about, my dad not being around,
Yeah.
and went on my spiel. Blah, 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 this guy left me. Blah, 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 complain, complain, complain,
Yeah.
complain. Right?
Yeah.
And eventually, this guy looked at me and he was like, "Man, I wish I had your story." I was like, "What?"
Ish.
He's like, "Yeah, my dad is
Ish.
my dad is at home, but is drunk the
Ish.
whole time, right?
Ish.
And then when the drunkenness gets to crazy levels, then obviously there's violence.
Yes.
I wish my dad left."
My
Right?
goodness.
He's like, it's at that moment, I was like, oh, smack.
Ish.
I am crying from my scar of an
Ish.
absent dad,
Ish.
not realizing that it doesn't matter if your father's physically there.
Come on, man.
He's physically there doing what?
Ish.
Because that's the important thing, right?
Ish.
Is he
Ish.
there physically harming the family? Or is he
Ish.
there physically making sure that the family is enriched, the
Ish.
family is nourished, the family is growing, the family is looked after,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because physical presence, man, amen and amen, shout outs, it makes guys like us look like heroes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
He's there for his kids.
Yes.
Black, yeah, sure, but like
Yes.
we can't be celebrated as heroes for something that's supposed to be basic and fundamental.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean-
I'm like, no one in your house celebrates you for bathing. Hey, Bekuba bukezile namhlanje. Or celebrate you for
Yes,
eating.
Yes.
Man, that's the basic
Basic.
stuff. You need to
Basic.
eat, you need to bath, and it's
Absolutely.
from that basis where you can then thrive and become all these other amazing things.
Yes.
So it's like, man, I get it. We live in a pandemic, and so celebrating physical presence is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, for our generation, at least the narrative is changing in that regard. That
Yes.
most of our let me not even say most, some of us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've been doing this podcast for some time.
Yeah.
I see the complaints,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Of husbands and fathers who are absent.
Yes.
But at least there's a group of us,
Who are
handful of us who
Yeah.
are trying, who
Yeah.
are showing up.
Yeah.
But even with that handful, I'm like, gents, let's not celebrate each other and pat each other on the back just for being physically present.
Sure.
Well done for doing what God has called you to do.
Yeah.
Now let's actually show up in all these other ways that are necessary to mold and build and grow a family that's going to
Yes.
thrive,
Yes.
Financially, are you there? Spiritually, are you there?
Yeah.
Emotionally, are you there? Psychologically, are you there?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're going to have all these buckets full.
Yeah.
You're going to lack in some of them, but at least attend to all of them.
Yeah.
Attend to all of them. I'm
Yes.
putting 1% here, 3% there. Hey, this one is dry. Let me patch.
Yeah.
But you're attending to all of them.
Yes.
Because you know that they're important for the people that you love.
Absolutely.
And looking after.
Absolutely.
So how did your relationship with your dad shape how you parenting now?
So there was one thing that I still need to work on with my own kids is wanting to see results now, especially from my son.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I say something
Yeah.
and I wish I could take it back.
Sure.
I said it in the spur of the moment. I got impatient because there's this notion nje yaselokishini indoda ayikhali. Or are you a girl? Come on, stop crying. What you crying for? What you crying for? What am I saying? You're not supposed to express his emotions.
Sure.
What I say that I'm guilty of it, Black. Sometimes I think he's at a disadvantage because he's the older one. I have a boy and a daughter.
Yeah.
So my son is the older one. And sometimes, because I'm working, I'm tired, and sometimes I'm just impatient and he's going to, for example, go and bath and he's going to sulk about that. I can understand me shouting for that.
Yeah.
Or, but hey, come on, now
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
But if he's going to say maybe they're fighting with his sister, and then he cries about it, and then I say, oh, come on, come on, what's your problem? What you crying for? And all of those things. So
that's damaging, man.
It's damaging.
Sure.
So I wish I can be a more understanding father.
Yeah.
I wish I can be a more patient father.
Yeah.
I wish I can be a more, and those are the things that I inherited from my
Sure.
very rough patch dad, who my dad doesn't. I think this is his weakness. He's always solving problems. What's the problem? What must I pay for it? That's that. Okay, next, next. He is a what next guy. And I think, and that's how, especially for my son, that's what I do sometimes. Yeah, and then when you've cried, then what are you gonna like? Kanti, he wants a process.
Yep.
He wants me to walk him through. He's had a terrible game at a soccer match. My first response would be, "Why weren't you marking? Why are you sleeping? Like, what's wrong with you? You didn't want to play today." Kanti is probably having a bad day.
He's
probably, and I can count the number of times where I've sat down and said to my son, "How are you feeling, boy?"
Sure.
I can count. I do it,
Sure.
but I can count them
Sure.
as verses. What you crying for? Come on, boys don't cry. So it's something that I'm still learning
Sure.
to do.
Sure.
It's not an excuse.
Sure.
But our little boys, and I'm going to refer to him the most because I'm more sweeter to my daughter. If you look at their beds, he's got a Batman bedding, Batman theme, and my daughter has got like a flowery thing. Yeah, and so this one is there's wars, there's fighting, and there's why? Why? I think that simple thing speaks of the expectations I have between the both of them.
Yes.
When she cries,
Yeah.
I say, "Baby girl, what's okay?"
Yeah.
Because one, we've never had a girl in our family.
Sure.
It's me and my brother, so we've been toughened up. So my daughter was the first girl in the family, so you'd understand the amount of care, the extra pay attention to detail, and versus my son. So that's one of the things that I inherited, which I wish I could work on. Also, it's just I try to be intentional about spending more time with them and just being present in everything. And that is inspired by the fact that with my extramurals and all the things that I was involved in at school, I didn't see them. So it's kind of me wanting to do better. So that experience inspires me to do it differently.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. There's more in that conversation. If you want to check out the full episode, click on the video right now or the link in the description box.